grinding all my life. Sacrifice, hustle paid the price. Want a slice, got to roll dice, that's why all my life I've been grinding all my life.
Hello everybody, welcome back to another episode of Talking Ball with AE8. Today, I have with me an absolute legend behind the mic. He's been the voice of WGM Sports Radio for the past 7 years, named Best Radio Personality of 2021, looked and took home Best Play-by-Play Broadcaster in 2024. When he's not calling the action, you'll probably find him out on the golf course or passionately debating the highs and lows of his beloved Cubs and Bears. And of course, the Blackhawks, but go Blues. Come on now. Give it up for the man, the myth, the voice behind WGM Sports Center Morning Show, Ryan Muma.
Man, that was guys. That's an intro.
Oh.
My goodness, that's amazing. You did your homework.
I did. I love it. I mean,
yeah, seriously.
Being in the booth with you, on your radio show, and getting glimpse of what I needed to learn for this, during the summer for the Paddler Player Profile, and then just a couple weeks ago, or just last week, learning a lot from you is making me flow through this, and I love it so much. So thank you for that.
No, I mean, I appreciate you saying that. I mean, I am lucky to be able to talk to individuals like yourself, that, have a really cool story that needs to be told, and also just chatting it up.
Right.
I mean, that's been, and I'm sure we'll get into a bunch of different things, but like, that's my biggest thing is I just love talking sports.
Exactly.
and just, I guess I could say talking in general.
Yes.
I don't know. I just enjoy it, where I think there's a personability standpoint of it that, again, getting to know you, over these last couple of years too, has been a big part of it, you know? So I appreciate you saying that, and I'm very, very honored to hear that, but I'm definitely not worthy of it, but I appreciate you.
No, you're all good. You're all good. So the first question I got for you, as a WIU alum, you started at WGM not very long after graduating from college. Mm-hmm. And what was the transition like from college radio into like the professional setting on live radio, basically?
It's a great question. So, I started at WGEM actually before I graduated.
Okay.
So it was my last semester of my senior year. I was very lucky that the job had opened up and I applied. Obviously, they liked me, and the rest is history. But I was doing the show 2 days a week. So Tuesdays and Thursdays is when I was doing the morning show with Brock Hamsmeyer. So I was lucky with that because I knew my college schedule. The transition, though, weirdly enough, it wasn't crazy.
Right.
So I did a show on 88.3 The Dog, which is the radio station for WIU. So shout out. But I did a show called Man Coverage. So I was a one-man band, like I am now.
Right.
And I took it upon myself to be like, you know what? Maybe this might be something that I have to do later on in life, to where it is just me, or let me see what I can do just doing it myself. So I did that in college, and I did an hour-long radio show once a week and talked all things, football, baseball, basketball, obviously a lot of Chicago because that's my my upbringing. But so then when I got to WGEM, I was very lucky to have a guy in Brock Hamsmeyer who, if you want to talk about a legend, in my opinion, it's that guy. Because, and he'll never say it, he'll never admit it, but he's a guy that really showed me a lot and made me feel comfortable right out the jump, to where he's like, hey, be you. Be yourself. This is, you're coming in here brand new. Nobody knows you. Just be yourself. Let that be your thing. And obviously that's what I did, And so I was lucky to have him for, 2.5, maybe 3 years. I might be selling it short, before he stepped away from SportsCenter. Obviously still does play-by-play for us. But as far as the transition goes, I know it's a long-winded answer, but as far as the transition goes, it's kind of been, it wasn't, I want to say that hard because that sounds arrogant, but it wasn't because of the people I had around me, because of Brock Hamsmeyer being the guy that I was able to come in with. Because there was, it's been a minute. There was times where I screwed up or didn't say something right or didn't do something right. He never made me feel, inferior or that's maybe not the word I'm
less
looking
than
for.
yourself.
Less than, thank you. Never made me feel less than, and it was just like, no, you learn from it, And I'm still making mistakes today, don't get me wrong. But I was very lucky that was my first job and getting to work with him.
And speaking off of that, me basically coming up into the podcast era, how long did it take you to get your voice and not mess up? Because you're a great speaker. Don't get me wrong. You're amazing. You're off the top, know what to say right when you say it. So it's perfect.
How did I learn to do that? I'll answer it this way. The same person you're getting on this podcast is the same exact person you're going to get if I'm walking outside.
Exactly.
Because I'm of the belief that being fake is ridiculous.
Yeah, that's what I feel
it just doesn't, because you're putting on a face.
Yeah.
You're putting on a face that isn't yours. So my voice. Now, I'll say, like, me getting excited and being very loud, just ask my wife, that is every day. That is every day of my life, to where, from a sports standpoint, I'm, hooting, hollering over my Bears, finally scoring a touchdown for the first time. It feels like forever, and I'm excited about that. And then me talking with people about sports outside of radio, it's the same thing.
Right.
The same thing I'm saying to you guys here and here or out there about, you ask me a question, it's the same thing. So you asked me, like, where did I find my voice? It's just always been me.
Right.
Now, I will say it's funny, because in high school, I was a very quiet person, like a very shy person, to where I didn't like public speaking. I didn't like doing stuff like this.
Right.
And so I don't really know what switched. It was really, when I was picking what school I was going to go to and I chose Western, it was like, when they told me I could do sports broadcasting, and again, I think I might have even said this to you when you were on Sports Center, when I realized that, I wasn't going to be the next Brian Urlacher to play football, I was like, well, I could talk about sports, make a living out of it? Heck yeah, let's do it. But then, of course, it was like, you got to talk.
Right.
You can't be afraid of public speaking. But that was also the big reason why I wanted to do a solo show, because it almost, in a sense, forced me to have to just talk.
Right.
To be that person that is going to public speak. Because you don't have the counterpart to, and those are great. I love co-hosts, and I would take them any day of the week, but it forced me to kind of develop, in a sense, just, I got to talk. I got to be me. And again, the same person you're hearing right now is the same person you hear once I walk out those doors.
And that's what I love. Me and you just walking here, talking about what happened yesterday for me, and you being excited for me.
Right.
It's the same person I see on the radio every morning. It's the same person we're talking to right now. And that's what I love about it.
I appreciate that. It means a lot.
So the second question I have, and this might be a hard one, because there's a lot that goes into thinking about this.
Okay.
So if you could be in one sports play in history, what play would it be? I mean, literally any sport.
It's already done. I already know. It is the kick return touchdown by Devin Hester in the Super Bowl in 06.
Okay.
If I could be one of the blockers that was on that, or just on the same sideline. I don't even have to be on the same play. That moment, for a Chicago Bears fan like myself, just top.
Right.
That is top. And I know there are a lot of, old heads that'll be like, well, there was this play, that. And for me, that was the play.
Right.
That honestly, if you ask me, and I don't know your questions, but when did you become a Bear fan? It was that moment. Like, I was already a Bear fan before that, because my dad was always a Bear fan and a Chicago fan. But that play I remember so vividly. It's embedded in my brain that when people ask me, like, oh, when did it happen for you? That play.
And it's funny that you say that, because 2013 Red Sox were amazing.
Yeah.
And when David Ortiz hit the grand slam against the Tigers, that's when I fell in love with them.
That's what I'm saying.
It's weird.
No doubt. It's a moment that lives with you, where you're just like, seriously, because we forget a lot of things.
Oh yeah.
Right? Because we do so much and everything kind of hits us. That is one of those, like the movie Inside Out. It's core memory.
Yes.
I watch a lot of Disney movies. Sorry, with kids and everything. It's just it's embedded. But Inside Out, you know what I mean? The core memory. That's one of them for me.
And that's the great sports moments of history.
That's what
it's about.
That's why he's in the Hall of Fame.
Exactly.
That's why he's in the Hall of Fame.
Exactly.
Easy enough. That's right.
So number 3 is the Quincy sports scene. As a Chicago sports fan originally, what was it like immersing yourself into this tri-state area? Not just Quincy itself, but like, speaking of like Pace and Illini West, Unity, all the small
towns.
Yeah. How did it feel like immersing yourself into that, coming from the huge city of Chicago.
So lucky enough, I come from a small town. So I always tell people, so the way you're saying it isn't wrong with the way that I've told you where I'm from. Because when people ask me, they're like, oh, where are you from? I go, oh, Chicagoland area. Because nobody knows where Wilmington, Illinois is around here. You know what I mean? So I say that. But I'm from a small town, and I like to actually compare it to a Payson, a Camp Point, or whatever. That's the town I grew up in. So I have a little bit of that small town feel, you know. As far as coming here, bro, I'll be honest with you, it blew me away.
Really?
How sportsaholic this community is.
And it's funny you say that because that's all people talk about around here.
Mm-hmm.
It's either you're talking about pizza,
Yep.
you're talking about chicks on the river, or you're talking about sports.
That's exactly it. That's literally it.
I know.
Yes. It's when I first got here, and again, very lucky to have Brock. He was kind of taking me under his wing, obviously, and giving me kind of the lay of the land. It blew me away. He's like, here's all the teams that we talk to, or I should say schools. Who are all the schools we talk to? That's not even talking colleges.
Yeah.
You know, you have all those colleges, too, that are extraordinary. Obviously, we're here at Culver and, you know, WIU and John Wood and QU and all that stuff. It's amazing, you know, and I'm very lucky. And I think, too, what's really awesome is, you know, my show is, for lack of a better way of saying, it's a niche because we talk local, regional, national.
Right.
Because we're an ESPN affiliate. So that's partially why I also love it, because not only do I get the stories of the local front, because that's huge and that's a very important, but I'm able to also piggyback that off of, you know, I get to talk Bears, Chiefs, Blackhawks, Blues, Cubs, Cardinals, you name it. And then even more so on a national front because, well, we're an ESPN affiliate.
Yeah.
You know, so, but even that, not only do people love their local sports, but my God, they love their sports.
Yes.
You know what I mean? It's, you are a fan of this team, and I bleed that color, and that's what I love. That's why I love doing this.
Yeah, and, you know, as a Payson alum,
Right.
I still go, like a couple days ago, I just went to the Brown County Camp Point game, and let me tell you guys, that was a
Electric
game. I mean, my cousin plays for Camp Point, starts linebacker.
Yeah.
And, you know, watching him out there, in that environment, I could only imagine. I mean, Payson, of course, doesn't have a football team. We co-op with Unity, but still, if Payson had that feel, it'd be electric. You know, like
God.
just going to the baseball, playing at Payson baseball. You know, when I broke the record, there were hundreds upon hundreds of people there just supporting one kid that's going to do something special.
Yes.
And that's what I love about the small town feel of sports.
It's not only just the small town feel of sports, it's small town in general.
Yes.
That's one of the many reasons, you know, that I love living here.
Right.
Because, you know, I have a wife, I have 2 kids that are 3. Back up, not 3. Calm down over there. But 2 kids that are 3. It might feel like 3 sometimes when they're running around. But anyways, I have, you know, a family that is very tight knit, and I came from, again, a community that was very close, like what we have out here. Wilmington, Illinois is like nothing you've ever seen. But then I say that because you could see it all over the place here.
Yeah.
But that's what makes it awesome, because you have so many communities that come together, and when it is, you know, as you just said, if it's a kid from Payson, you're going to have everybody from Camp Point still rooting them on.
Exactly.
You know, or vice versa. You know, and even shout out the Missouri schools as well. It's all of that. You know, if someone's doing something in Palmyra, Monroe City, unless they're playing each other, want to see them do really well.
Right.
You know, and there's that backing, there's that quote unquote family atmosphere to it. And it's just, it is unlike anything that you will get in so many different locations. But on the magnitude is really what I'm getting at, because it's when you even have, you know, towns that are on the Missouri side and someone's doing something in our region that's on the Illinois side, they're rooting for it.
Exactly.
You know, everybody's connected, and it's really cool. And I hope, and I'm sure they don't, but I hope people really recognize that.
Right.
Because you don't get that everywhere.
No, you really don't. You don't.
No.
So, guys, we're going to shoot to a quick ad break really quick. Thank you to today's sponsor of today's episode, Refresher Services Pepsi. We'll be right back with Talkin' Ball with AE8. Thank you, guys, for watching today's episode of Talkin' Ball with AE8. Today's sponsors of today's episode are Refresher Services Pepsi, PSD Underwear, Round Count Excavation, Farm and Home Supply, Game Day on the Hill, and AE8 Vintage. Once again, thank you guys for viewing in. All right, so the next question I have for you, we're going to backtrack a little bit because I was talking about pizza places in Quincy.
Okay.
You got to, and from a Chicago guy, you got to be talking about pizza.
That's a fair point.
So,
okay. All right.
What are your top choices of pizza in Chicago? Style, places, anywhere. And then we're going to go back into how has Quincy pizza changed your taste on it? You know what I mean?
I do. Gosh, pizza's a good one because you're right. There's a lot of pizza places in Quincy. So to answer the first part, as far as the Chicago feel, obviously I know there's the Chicago style, which is deep dish. I've maybe had that twice in my life.
I don't like it.
It's okay.
Yes.
You know what I mean? It's if you're wanting something thick and heavy to weigh down on the old thighs, like you go for a slice
too
of
much.
that. It's a lot.
Yes, it is.
But I understand, it's a Chicago thing.
Yes.
And again, when it's made right, it's very good. That's always my thing. If it's made right, it's very good.
Right.
I'm a thin crust guy.
Yes.
I love thin crust. If it's and here you go. When you ask food questions, I am one of. It's got to be made right. When it is made correctly and it's got the crunch, and it feels light.
Yes.
That is the best.
And that's why I like Tower.
That's a good one.
Tower in Quincy. Sponsor me. Come on.
That's right. Shout out.
And
shameless plug.
And I really did not like thin crust. My girlfriend actually got me on it, and I'm like, I mean, it's all right. And then we went to Tower and tried it, and it was money.
That's what I'm saying. When it is made properly, when it's done right, absolutely. But you asked my favorite though. Gosh, dude. Honestly, so you really put me on the spot because it depends on my mood.
Right,
like it really does, and I'm not trying to cop out the question, but it really does depend on my mood. There are days where Casano's is very good in Quincy. Tower, as you mentioned. Honestly, weirdly enough, the bowling alley. Tangerine.
Yes.
It's awesome.
They're great. Yeah.
I don't know what it is, but it is very good. So, but then there's nights where I don't want that and I want something else. You know what I mean? So I'm very blessed with all of the different pizza places that we have and just food options.
In Quincy, it's weird.
Oh my God.
We have Italian places, Mexican places. I think we have a couple, oh my goodness. Thai Delish, what is that?
Is it the Indian food?
Indian food.
Yeah.
What is that?
I've never had it yet.
Me neither.
I have not had it yet. But it was a random thing that popped up.
It's just weird, right?
Right. And I was like, okay. I mean, some of these days I'm going to do it.
Right.
I'm going to go have it. But no, if you are lacking food choices and you're saying that in Quincy, I may ask what's wrong.
Right. Exactly.
Like, have you gone outside?
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So, no, very lucky with all of that. So, I like it.
The next question I got for you is just actually, it might be controversial, but we'll see.
Oh, boy.
What's a sports movie that everyone seems to love, but you secretly cannot stand?
Oh, God. See, here's the thing, and this has been a thing for me forever. I am not a huge movie buff.
Right.
Like, I'm not a guy that I've watched a ton of movies. Don't get me wrong. It's not like I'm a movie snob. But when we would do so when Brock was on the show, we would get people that would text in different movie references.
Right.
And he would make movie references. And I would literally have to do the fake media laugh because I had no idea what he was talking about. Like, I was like, I'm going to roll with this.
Right.
You know what I mean? And then I would do my homework after the fact. And I'm like, okay, what are they talking about? And I'm also not good with on the spot. Like, you remember this, again, there are certain things that, yes, are very good within movies. But, like, I'm not an on the spot movie buff.
Right.
So and again, I see I'm copping out your questions. I don't really have one because a lot of the sport I'm only going to watch it if I think it's good.
Right.
So I don't. No, I don't have an answer for you.
I'll just give you my answer.
Please, yeah, go ahead.
Mine's a TV show, it's not a movie. All American.
Okay, I haven't seen that yet.
I cannot stand it.
But I've heard good things about it though.
I can't stand it.
Okay.
People hyped it up in 2020. I went and watched the first season. First season was amazing.
Yeah.
But then they did one too many seasons, and it just got to the point where, like, dude, get to the point.
Bro, that's the one thing I hate about TV shows sometimes is, like, the really good ones, the ones that are just perfect.
Right.
I'll give you a random one that's not even a sports one. Gotham. That used to be on WGEM Fox.
Yes.
Shameless plug. But loved that.
Yeah.
Would watch it all the time. Guess what? They ended it way too soon.
Yeah.
They all of a sudden had like a sped up season ending thing. And I'm like, wait a minute. What just happened?
Exactly.
You know what I mean? And then I'm sitting there going, dude, you could have. So I'm sitting on my couch being, couch producer. And I'm like, dude, you could have done this. You could have done that. And they end shows way sooner than they should. But then the ones that you or I or whatever, how is this still on? It keeps going.
But I know exactly why people do that is because they want money. The producers are like, we're just going to cut it off short because people are going to keep talking about it. Then we're going to do a spin-off in a couple of years. Speaking of that, Endgame. We've been waiting on a new Endgame. I think it comes out next year, this year.
Yeah, you're right.
We've been waiting for one. I was like 11 years old when it came out. And now every year of high school, all my friends would sit there, is it going to come out? Where are we going to see it? Like,
well, think about Avatar.
Yeah.
Like how long that took for a sequel. But now they're coming out with a third one.
Yes. And
so,
like literally in a year span.
See, that's what I'm saying. I love movies and I watch movies all the time. But yeah, I'm not the best movie answer this question guy.
Right.
I suck at that. So I'm being straight with you. Being straight with you, man.
Top 5 Chicago sports players in your mind.
Top 5 Chicago sports players. Brian Urlacher's number 1. That is my guy. I wore his number in high school. Absolutely loved that dude. Never got an autograph from him, which was always a bummer because I used to go to training camp all the time in Bourbonnais and just never got it. But he's definitely number 1 on my book. Number 2's got to be Walter Payton. I mean, that's an easy. He could be number 1.
Yeah.
I mean, if I'm being honest, I didn't even get to see him play. But you're around Chicago enough, you have to put that guy there.
Right.
And you're asking just sports in general, right? Just all sports. Sammy Sosa's up there for me. That was my guy. I loved Sammy Sosa.
Okay.
Oh my God. Like that dude was the best. I'm really glad that he and the Cubs have
finally agreed,
made up, and it's over because you can't talk Cubs baseball without talking about Sammy Sosa.
You can't.
You can't. Like right field, the power, him and Mark McGwire going at it. For the home run and stuff. Like I remember going to my first Cubs game. Well, I guess I don't really remember it. My parents do. I held up a sign. Sammy Sosa is my favorite player, and So that would be one of them. It may be kind of off what some might say, but this goes back to a Bourbonnais kind of thing. Tommy Harris, Chicago Bears defensive lineman. You want to talk about a dude that got it. Right. I'll explain what I mean. So we would go to Bourbonnais every year to watch Bears training camp, and it was always a big deal because you would get autographs and they would sign.
Yeah.
I remember vividly. So these are one of those core memories. We would sit there along the fence line and we would wait for dudes to come in. And obviously, there's a lot of people, so I'm not knocking anyone that doesn't sign everybody's thing, right? Because I get it. But sometimes you'd go and there'd be like 4 people in front of you, and you would just miss a guy or whatever. Tommy Harris, literally. At the end of practice, it was a late practice. They probably got done around 8. He was there to sign every single autograph from the entire line down. Took pictures with absolutely everybody that wanted them. Would ask afterward and say, do you need anything else? They would say no. Great, thanks for coming. Go on to the next guy. And it was the same thing the entire time. Plus, he was a really good player. He was a very good player. But it was just, it was that where I was like, as a little kid, I'm like, I want to be that guy. You know what I mean? Like, it was him. This goes back to being yourself. It was him. He was just very caring, knowing that all these people came from wherever they came to watch us practice, to take in the Chicago Bears. This is their one opportunity to maybe get real close, up close and personal with one of us. I'm going to make sure that, because they would even had PR people, like Tommy ready to come in. He's like, nope. He goes, these people waited. These people stayed here. When they could have left, they stayed. We're going to sign everything. So he's definitely up there. Just for that. Plus, if you look him up, he's a very good defensive lineman. So I need to give you one more. Ooh, there's several in my head. Because obviously Devin Hester, as I mentioned, the moment.
Yes.
Another one's kind of off the beaten path, but Tommy Hester, former running back for the Bears, actually wore his number 20 when I was in Pee Wee football. Never was going to be a running back, but don't know, it's a cool number. I'll say Devin Hester. I'll say that one because I keep coming back to that moment. That was a moment for me. I became a Bears fan, so I'll say Devin Hester.
And when I was a kid watching the Bears, it was always Brandon Marshall.
That's a good one.
Because I didn't become a Dolphins fan. Oh, okay. I didn't become
going really well for you right now,
Finns fan.
Yeah.
I won't even say Dolphins. They don't even deserve it. Finns fan
Yeah.
until I was 16 because I loved Fitzmagic. Loved watching him play, and
the Fitzy.
I loved just what he had going on.
Dude, yes.
And now I'm like, okay, well, I tell everyone I'm a Dolphins fan, so I got to stick with it.
Brandon Marsh, no, hey, listen, you stick with what you got,
Yes.
and I respect that because, again, you don't want to be considered a bandwagon fan. You don't want to do that. No, Brandon Marshall's a good one because obviously you pair that up with Jay Cutler.
Oh, yeah.
I got a funny backstory with that, which is actually how I met my wife.
Really?
Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, you want me to get into it?
Go ahead.
All right.
Yes.
So obviously, me and my wife are going to be going on 10 years of being together next March or this coming March. Married for 3. Remember, you got to remember that stuff. But I was at a party in college, and she actually came up to me and started talking to me. I mean, why wouldn't you?
The guy.
Right. I mean, and if she's watching this, she's going to be like, no, I just felt sorry because you were sitting there by yourself. Anyway, so we're sitting there, and we started talking sports and getting to know her. She's from the Chicagoland area. She's from a suburb of Lombard. And we were talking Bears. And at the time, Jay Cutler was the quarterback. I was probably one of 10 at the time that still liked old Smokin' Jay. She did not.
Okay.
She was very much a Jay Cutler stinks. He's really bad, and other words that were used that we will not use on the podcast. You know what I mean? So,
Yes.
And we argued, quote unquote, argued over Jay Cutler of all people.
Jay Cutler.
And that was our first night that I ever met her. And then obviously here we are almost 10 years later.
Right.
But we revert back to that because I was like, what are you talking about? Jay Cutler's really good. He's got a good arm. He just needs time. And she's like, you're nuts. He sucks. And it was just, and she gave reasonings. I don't even remember what the reasonings were. And obviously I told her I was going to sports broadcasting. She made the joke. She goes, if you think he's good, well then good luck with your sports broadcasting career. It was like, okay. So it was just a good,
Yes.
But it was we bonded over Jay Cutler. So anytime someone brings up Jay, I'm like, well, that's why now I'm married to my wife.
That's hilarious.
So,
I like that.
10
That's
years
hilarious.
later, here we are.
So this might be a hard question for me to ask you.
Yeah.
But as a fellow football player, how hard was it taking your pads off for the last time?
It was the worst. That was absolutely the worst. You can really pair that with any sport. I only played in high school,
right?
So I didn't play in college. I was not lucky enough to do that. So funny enough, football for me, I started playing football when I was in 5th grade. And I remember my first year of playing football was awful. I was a little tubby kid, you know what I mean? Like just not in shape.
Right.
And again, you're in 5th grade, so take that for what it is. But I remember going to practices and they were hard. Like it was just, you're sweating, throwing up just because you're not in shape. Your body's not ready for it. And I remember telling my dad, like, Dad, I want to quit. And he's like, no. And I'm like, well, no, Dad, I want to quit. Like, I'm done. I can't do this anymore. Like, I don't want to do this. It's not fun,
Right.
So take that as a 5th grader telling his dad you want to go. And he goes, no. He goes, go through the rest of this season. He goes, let me tell you this. He goes, you go through the rest of this season and you don't want to do it after this season, then okay. But you signed up to do this, so do it. But he goes, mark my words. He goes, when this is fully all said and done, you will thank me. And of course, being a 5th grader, I was like, okay, Dad.
Whatever.
Like, cool.
Yeah.
Fast forward, I kept playing. I go 6th, 7th, 8th, all through high school. So my senior year, the final game that we played, I remember, typical, you're standing there on the field, not really wanting it to end. And my dad's sitting there on the sideline where the fence line was. And I remember walking up to him and literally didn't say anything, but thank you. Thank you for not letting me quit. And he knew exactly what I was talking about. And he gave me a big hug and he said, you're welcome. Because me playing football and kind of growing into the person that I have become is a lot to do with that. Because again, sports in general, and you know it, and everyone probably listening for a good majority know what I'm about to say, but like it molds you into, the person that you want to become because it teaches you so much. There is obviously the highs and lows of losing and winning, and that's a huge part of it. But at the end of the day, There are very few that are, lucky enough to go on to play, college or the pros, right? So for that short time, you are playing a sport and you're expected to be there on time. You're expected to dress a certain way. You're expected to do what, your boss or coaches, want you to do. And you learn so much from that. And I was lucky my dad actually coached me for a couple of years too after that 5th grade season. But because I told him I wanted to keep going. But yeah, no, that was my final time, and I remember telling him thank you, and he knew exactly what I was talking about.
That's great.
Yeah,
Fantastic.
Absolutely.
What was when the final out was made in 2016 for the Cubs? What ran through your head?
So this is another funny one. So when the Cubs won in 16, a lot ran through my head. It was, oh my God, they just did it.
Right.
Like it's actually here. But I can literally remember where I was at. So I was in college at the time, and I was at my, obviously, wife, then girlfriend's apartment. Her roommate, she was a huge Cub fan too. So obviously we bonded over that. So I remember my wife went to bed during that game. She, because my wife's a huge, so I want this to be out there because, she's talking about Jay Cutler sucks and she went to bed during the World Series game. My wife loves sports, loves football, is a huge Blackhawks fan. When they were winning, obviously,
yes.
Those 3, she went to the parades, when she was younger. I got her into baseball. She wasn't a huge baseball fan, but she loves the Cubs now, and then Bulls, right? All Chicago. So anyways, I just want to preference that because she did go to bed during the World Series biggest moment in Chicago Cubs history. But anyway, she goes to bed, right? So it's just me and her roommate watching this game. We're both glued to the TV. And all of a sudden, Pat Hughes with his call, a bouncer slowly towards Bryant, flips it over to Rizzo, and the Cubs win. And it was this whole moment. And I remember jumping out of my seat, her roommate's jumping out of her seat. We embraced and are jumping up and down, going nuts. And my mind is, oh my God, it literally happened.
Right.
The thing that nobody thought was ever going to happen happened. And I remember calling my dad, because obviously we were texting throughout the whole thing. My brother, was 3 years younger than me, calling them like, oh my God, they did it. Just going crazy, right? And that was it, just that moment. And it was such a cool one for the city, for Chicago, for baseball, quite frankly, because of kind of ripping that monkey off their back. And, those guys will live on forever.
Right.
Yeah.
And, funny you say that because when I was watching the 2018 World Series with the Red Sox, I cried. Me and my mom, I was speaking of this on your radio show the other day, got my mom into Red Sox baseball.
Mm-hmm.
They lost a couple days ago, but it's all right.
We're a young team. We're going to talk about that, that's right.
And, watching them win and seeing Machado drop to one knee and Chris Sale hug, it was just like you said, we really just did it. I mean, we have the most World Series wins in the 2000s, but still, that moment, you'll never forget it.
No.
It's a moment that plays through your mind all the time. This season might be the recreation of that season. So that's what I love about baseball.
It's why when people ask, what would you rather have? Would you rather have one championship in your entire lifetime or a bunch of successful seasons that don't end in a championship? I'll take the one.
One. Exactly.
Because if you tell me that, hey, the Cubs will never win one again, I have that.
Right.
I have 16. I have Chris Bryant, Anthony Rizzo, Baez, the list goes on. Kyle Hendricks. It's just incredible. I witnessed that.
Right.
Where, again, there are some sports organizations that have never done it. So I'll take the one, no doubt. So
last question I have for you. It's a short one, but it might get your mind thinking a little bit.
Okay.
So you love golf, right?
I do.
So what is your go-to golf snack and drink when you're on the course?
Oh, that's a good one. I am a big Reese's or peanut M&M guy.
Love peanut M&Ms.
Yes.
Those things are great.
Yes. Reese's is number one. I will say this. So, Reese's is number one. Golf course, though, is peanut M&Ms because they don't melt as fast.
Right.
Because they don't get hot, so they don't melt as fast. That's key. And then just a Gatorade to drink. But I would say snack-wise, it's peanut M&Ms. So I'm a type 1 diabetic, and so sweets and things like that, you got to watch. Whenever I golf, my blood sugar dips all the time. So it's kind of like, it's snack time for Ryan. You know what I mean? We got to eat something.
Right.
So I'm going to go pick something that's really good. So I go pick something that's really good, and it's peanut M&Ms. So I'd say peanut M&Ms for sure.
That's great.
What is yours?
Mine would have to be a Snickers first of all, or a Payday. Westview has Paydays and they're amazing.
Very good.
And then I'm a big soda guy. And I know I'm an athlete, but I'm a huge soda guy.
Ain't nothing wrong with that.
I have to go a Mountain Dew or a white Gatorade. Like yesterday.
Okay.
So speaking off of this, I'm sorry I keep talking about myself here. You're the main guy.
You're
but
good, man. No.
Yesterday, I hit my first ever hole-in-one.
That's what he's talking about right there. That's it. Come on.
And, you know, it was a moment I will literally never, ever forget.
Nor should you.
Yeah.
Nor should you.
Moments for me in sports.
Yeah.
2018 World Series, hitting my first ever career home run, getting a couple of hits for the Doggy Paddlers, and hitting the hole-in-one. And I think the hole-in-one might be up there, like I was telling you earlier.
Yeah.
But I ate a Payday and I was drinking a white Gatorade, so I might have to stick to that for the rest of my golf career.
Well, again, what ball did you hit?
Pro V1 Pepsi. It was a Pepsi ball.
See, now you got to hit Pro V1s all the rest of your life.
They have the Pepsi logo on it.
So, well, you hooked up with Pepsi now. They just got to keep giving you the. So you're gonna hit more hole-in-ones. See, that's the thing. I've had one hole-in-one in my entire life, and this was a couple of years ago. And I remember where I was. I was in Westview. The back nine, as I call it.
Yeah.
It was funny because it was a par 3 tournament, so they made every hole a par 3. That's fantastic. So that was awesome in its own right. Because I mean, come on now.
Yes.
But so you're already kind of locked in with that. It was like the 5th hole that we did. You know, our groups. It was a scramble format. The other 3 went, and then I hit. And I remember hitting it. It goes up in the air. You know, I've hit shots that are decent. You know, and it goes up in the air. I'm like, okay, cool. It's going to get us on the green. Perfect. And literally just goes bloop, bloop, and rolls in. And I remember my buddy, who's a huge Falcons Cardinal fan, and I actually refer to him on SportsCenter, my buddy, the Falcons fan. Shout out Austin. He throws his club up in the air. And I think he was more pumped than I was. Now, obviously, I was ecstatic, and he goes, oh, God, oh, my God, he did it. He's screaming like a child.
Yes.
I remember he tackles me. Now, if you know Austin, he is a big dude. That's my boy, but he is a big guy. He tackles me and picks me up and is like, "Oh my goodness!" And then we run down to the green. I pick it up, take snap the photos. But at that time, I was using. Now I didn't hit the hole-in-one with this, but before that, I was hitting Srixon Marathons.
Okay,
was the golf ball of choice for me. Don't ask me why; it just was. It felt good. I had just probably a couple of weeks before that got into using Vice golf balls.
Oh,
the Vice golf balls,
the colorful ones.
That's right.
Stuff, yeah.
So I got into using those, and I'll be honest, when I first started using them, I didn't like them.
Right.
I was like, oh, this feels weird. I don't like them. But then when we do this tournament, I had forgotten to go get Srixon golf balls.
Right.
So all I had were Vice, and I end up hitting the hole-in-one with the Vice golf ball, and now I use Vice all the time.
Yes.
Well, now I love it. You know what I mean? It's a whole mind game thing because, look, the golf ball matters.
Right.
It really does. Ask anybody, R&R Golf, Ray, shout out. The golf ball matters.
Right.
Right, it does. But as an amateur, there's times where you question, like, does it really? You know what I mean? I'm still hitting it in the woods. Like, what are we doing here?
Exactly.
So, but as I started to play more with the Vice, and they have different varieties, I found the ones that really worked for me, and I use Vice ever since. Have I ever hit a hole-in-one since then? No. I'm still waiting for that. But no, and it's funny, hole-in-ones are crazy. I have so my grandfather who has passed away, he hit one hole-in-one in his entire golf career. And this is a guy that golfed from our age to, till he passed away.
Right.
And I think he was in his 60s. And he hit one. And when he hit it, I think he was in his, if I could be wrong, but like late 50s. So like that's something that doesn't happen.
Right.
I got a boss at WGEM. Shout out Ben Van Ness. I don't think he's ever hit one.
Right.
That guy golfs way more than I do.
Right.
And he's way better than I am. So sometimes golf gods just gift you.
And it's weird because I was shooting awful all day long. I went like first par 5, got a par on it. It went double, then went hole-in-one.
No doubt.
Then went par. And I'm like, what is happening right now?
But see, those are the shots that keep you coming back.
Oh, yes.
Obviously, the hole-in-one will. But you can golf like crap.
Yes.
And then all of a sudden, you hit that one beauty that just goes down. It's like, oh, my God. Look at what I just did.
And it was funny because
awesome.
My friend was already down on the green.
Yep.
He was going to go look for his ball. I was like, whatever. And then there was a group sitting next to there watching the par 3 because apparently, so when I went into the clubhouse, they said there was like 13 hole-in-ones this year on that hole alone. So this other group was watching me hit, and then one of my friends from the Culver baseball team was sitting back with me watching. And I tee the ball up just a little bit. Love teeing up a ball in par 3. You got to get it up.
Mm-hmm.
Hit it, bounces once, hits the pin. So it was on the money. Mm-hmm. Didn't just ricochet, just went straight back down. I was like, what in the world is happening
And
right
you had
now?
the gallery.
Yes.
You had the gallery behind you, too. That is one of the hardest things to do in golf when the team or the group behind you is like, oh, go ahead. And you're golfing like garbage.
Yes.
And you're like, oh, great. So not only do my buddies that I'm golfing with know that I'm golfing like hot garbage, now this group behind us that is letting us, or the person that they were like in front of us and they're letting us go through, you're like, yeah, I got it, no worries. And then you go up there and you just
dribble one, top
it. It doesn't even go to the ladies' tees. You know what I mean? You're like, what did I just do? And it's one. But you did it with a gallery. I would actually argue that's more impressive than even mine. Like, I will be honest.
Well, thank you.
I'll be honest. Like, I'm not just trying to butter you up over here, but I'm being honest.
Yes.
So, no, congratulations on you. That's awesome.
Well, thank you guys so much for watching today's episode of Talking Ball with AE8. Shout out to Ryan Muma for coming out and talking to us and talking ball with us today. You can find this episode on the YouTube channel Talking Ball with AE8. You can also find me on every social media platform, AshNerds8 or Talking Ball with AE8 on any social media platform. Again, thank you guys so much for watching, and hopefully we'll see you next time. Thank you.